Hi everyone, Amy here, and I have a couple quick and easy celebration cards to share with you using a new stencil. This is the Dot Spoke Stencil. This is part of the April 2022 release at a Colorful Life Designs, and it is so fun, and I'm excited to play with it here for you today. Now I do have pixie spray on the back of it, and here I'm showing you some A2 size card bases. This is what I'll be working directly on. I have some Catherine Pooler inks. This is Life of the Party, and I'm going to pull out a few colors for each card. So here I have Flirty Fuchsia, Something Borrowed, and Aquatini. I have my blending brushes, and I'm just going to push this down directly onto the A2 size card base. And this is 110 pound Nina Classic Crest Solar White. And I do use my brayer to really push that stencil down onto the card base. And it sticks really well. So this is a stencil that is a really good example of one to use with pixie spray, just to really hold it down and have it not shift on you. It makes it really easy to work with. So here's a picture of the first card that I'm going to make for you today. And I'm just going to use my magnets and hold this card base down on the Wendy Vecchi Station tool. And I have it sped up here for the sake of brevity, but I'm just going to work through this first color, Flirty Fuchsia, and as you can see I'm more concentrated and more heavy-handed towards the inner portion of the stencil, and then a little bit more lighter-handed as I work my way outward. And I am going on the outside of the perimeter of the stencil just to kind of really showcase the design. And I'm going to lift it up here. You can see how well it's stuck down. And I will clean this off real quick with my stamp chamois and clean off the workspace, just because I am working directly on the card base and I don't want to get any ink on the back of my card base. So here you can see I'm just going to line it back up where it was originally and then turn it. So this is a fun way to really get more mileage out of your stencils, is just to kind of maybe flip them over or slightly rotate them, and you can kind of create a completely different look. So that's what I've done here. I'm just pushing it back down with a brayer, and then I'm coming in with Something Borrowed. Now I think originally I was thinking I would do 3 rotations, but I had a feeling that it would be a little bit too busy. So I decided to just use the Something Borrowed towards that inner circle and then go outward with the Aquatini. So that's what you'll see I'm doing here. I'm just blending that blue into the pretty teal color, and then I do end up coming back in again with the Something Borrowed because I want there to be like a really discernible contrast between those two colors. So that second rotation got a blend of 2 different colors, and the first rotation got just the Flirty Fuchsia. So you do you, whatever works. This is a fun way to really kind of use a stencil in a different way. But I'm just going to pull this back here and show you the really cool look that it gives you. And see, you can see it's really on there good. And if you do get any residual stickiness left on your card base, then just go ahead and use like a adhesive eraser if you have one of those, and that'll take that right off, but it won't harm your cardstock or anything. So basically how pixie spray works, you just spray the back of it like in a spray box. Make sure you're in a well ventilated space or outside, and then you just let it sit for a minute, and then it gets tacky. So you don't want to put it down when it's really wet. You want to give it a minute to just get tacky, but it is such a useful tool if you use stencils all the time like I do. So on this one I did cool, on the other one I'm going to do warm tones on this one, and I have the Tutti Frutti Tiara, and I'm not sure what the other one is off the top of my head, but you can see that's what the card I'm going to pull together here for you. And I'm starting with the Tutti Frutti color right in the center, and as you can see I did place in that center masking piece. I did put some pixie spray in the back of that as well, just to kind of leave that inner portion white. But as you saw in the card design, I ended up covering it up anyway. So it's just an additional option. It adds to the versatility. And then on this one, I'm not going to rotate it. So I'm just going to kind of use the stencil as intended in this case. And you'll see it creates this beautiful, I don't know, kind of like an artistic sun look. So that's kind of what I'm going for here. But came together really super quickly. I'm just going to pull this off and give you the reveal here. Really like how this one turned out. I love the stark white in contrast with the bright color. I think it's such a neat design. So here's this card basically ready to go. Then I got to figure out what I want to do for the sentiments here. So I get out these infinity dies. These are Hero Arts, and as you can see there's a huge range of sizes. So I figure out what ones I want to kind of cover up that center portion of this design, and I decide to go with 2 different sizes here. You can see on the orange and red one, there's a little bit of ink that came through between the mask and then the spoke portion. It doesn't bother me too bad, but if it does bother you, just bear in mind that might happen, and maybe mask that area off a little bit further. But here I have a couple pieces of white cardstock here. This is originally the direction I think I'm going to go, but then I decide to end up going with some yellow cardstock on that warm colored one. So here I'm shopping my sentiment book here. I just recently filled it back up. These are baseball card pocket protector sheets, and I just kind of use them to hold my stockpile of word die cuts that are ready to go. So just kind of shopping through and figuring out what I might want to use. I have some round ones which lend themselves really nicely to this design, but I was also thinking it would be fun if you have sentiment stamps that work well in a circle. You could just do a die cut and then stamp as well with a sentiment that would fit in that space. So lots of versatility, lots of options, just kind of shopping through, figuring out what I want to do. I have these perfect sentiments. These are from Pink Fresh Studios. I have these stamped and die cut out in all sorts of different colors. So here you can see I decided to go with a yellow piece of cardstock rather than the white. I felt it needed a little bit something more than just white. So here I'm just using some residual ink from the blending brush and kind of adding a little bit more of the Tutti Frutti color on the inside. And then I'm going to liquid glue this Hooray down right directly onto that yellow cardstock. And then I do end up popping it up with some foam tape just to give it a little bit of dimension. But otherwise it's a very flat card. It should be easy to ship, no issues there. So you can see I'm just adding some Barely Art liquid glue and then just dabbing off the excess, and I have some tweezers here just to kind of help me put it directly in the center of this little die cut. And I have this really sticky foam tape. This is from scrapbook.com. I will link it below in the video if it's still available. I haven't seen it in the shop the last couple times I've looked for it, but I'll link all the products that are available below the video. If you just expand the video description box and scroll down, you'll find the details there. So I'm just going to attach that, and that finishes this card, and I'll show you what I've completed here today. So I got this Hooray card. Honestly, you could make this a birthday card, you could make it a celebration card, you know, retirement, anything to congratulate someone for. So same thing with the yay. These are pretty versatile. You can kind of finish them off on the inside of the card as you need them. And I hope you enjoyed these ideas today. If you did, please hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And if you are already subscribed, I appreciate you and welcome back. So I will catch you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.